Welcome to the Retirement Roadmap by SHP Financial, a podcast empowering today's retirees and pre-retirees to make well-informed financial decisions that will help you spend more time living and dreaming than worrying and wondering. Join me, Matthew Peck, along with my co-hosts, Derek Gregoire and Keith Ellis, as we share actionable financial strategies and insights, as well as interview top thought leaders in the world of finance, accounting, and estate planning. This is all aimed at preparing you for the retirement you've always dreamed of. Our high-quality holistic planning process has helped thousands of families retire and create what we like to call the ripple effect. The Retirement Roadmap is your guide to financial freedom. Are you ready to get started? Let's go.
All right, welcome everyone to another episode of the SHP Retirement Roadmap podcast. I'm Derek Gregoire. I'll be your host for today, and super special show that I'm joined by my team here at SHP. We call them Team Derek. We have Laura Russo and Natalia Camargo. How are you both doing today?
Doing great.
Wonderful.
They say, how can we cover 25 minutes, 30 minutes of content? And they said, oh yeah, Derek can talk a lot.
Yeah, Derek likes to talk a lot, so
he'll
we'll be
handle
okay.
It. But Natalia, we're going to make you do the rest when we leave. So
Perfect.
but really, I think this show is going to just kind of give you a little bit of background and behind the scenes look at SHP on how we construct our business and how we run our business to make sure that our clients get the best success in the long run. So before we do that, we have a lot of cool things we're going to get into. I just want to get to know, I'm sure over the years you've probably heard me too much and probably know more about me than you want to, but I want to introduce the team. So Laura Russo has been with us 6 years?
Yeah, 5 years.
Yep. And so tell everyone a little bit about Laura Russo.
Oh man, there's a lot. Laura Russo, first and foremost, is a mom, so I think that's important
Yes.
to talk about. But I have an 18-month-old. I've been in the business here for 5 years. Before that, I worked at a major bank doing trust administration, working with ultra-high net worth clients. Before that, I was in a law firm and working, again, estate administration and trust administration. So as Derek likes to say, I'm his go-to when it comes to anything trust-related.
Just in the last meeting.
Exactly.
There was questions that I was like, oh, I got to talk to as I'm saying, I have to ask our attorney. Laura's like, oh, I know the answer to that. And I'm married to Alex.
Yeah, my husband Alex. He's a pretty awesome guy. We've been together 10 years now, and it's flying by.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I officially feel old. I think that's something important to note. I was saying this morning to a friend, I actually went to a store just looking at clothes, and I was seeing things that I wore in middle school, and I said, I'm officially old because I am now a recycled outfit kind of person. So that was a little horrifying, but you know what? It's all good. With age comes knowledge.
There you go. And thanks, Laura. Natalia. I know Natalia Camargo. She's been with us for a year and a half?
Year and a half, yep, correct.
And before that, how many years at the private?
So I worked for
Wirehouse.
22 years at a large investment firm. Great career there. Great to come to a smaller place where we focus diligently on clients. We do investment planning, tax planning, healthcare planning. At a wirehouse, you don't see that. There we focus most on investments. So it's a huge change being able to cover every aspect of the financial picture for the client.
You have some new news, right?
Oh yes. So I recently got engaged a couple of weeks ago. Mike, my fiance, is local as well. He lives in Hingham, and yeah, we're looking forward to the next chapter. I have a adult daughter. She's 26 years old, and we love to work out, go to church. So
that's awesome.
That's where we spend our
Natalia
time.
is the most fit person in our office.
Yes, she is. She definitely is.
She runs 18 miles in the morning every morning.
She doesn't have a car. She just runs here.
Run to work, yeah.
And then she has weights while she's on the phone. She does the curls while she's sitting there.
Sometimes she actually benches her desk over her head.
She's like, hold on, I need one more rep before I can take this call.
So I know when he messes with her.
So obviously we have fun on our team, which is a good time. Coming to work is always fun. We have a lot of the same values, background, and I think the one thing so back 20 years ago, believe it or not, speaking of being old, when Keith and Matt and I started SHP, the goal was always to get to a point where we could offer full financial planning. And as we kind of learned more about the business and as we got a little bit older and wiser, we kind of saw the CFP standard as being what we wanted to follow, meaning every client should have the ability to have an income plan, an investment plan, a tax plan, a healthcare plan, and a legacy plan.
Right.
But when you go back and you look under the cover of many firms, and to be fair, even our firm 15, 20 years ago, we just had investments in products, right? If you did this or that, and that was your plan, was whatever money you put into an instrument. And I know you were with a large wirehouse, Natalia, for 22 years, and it wasn't really a plan. It was more like when you did reviews, it was, here's how your investments
your
did.
return, your asset return level. So basically, our clients would have someone that handled the CFP portion, that handled the estate portion, that we never touched on healthcare at all. Anything with taxes, we would do tax loss harvesting, but we wouldn't implement an actual tax strategy.
Yeah.
So that's where we differ here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the thing over here is a lot of people say, well, over the years, every once in a while, people get it when you explain it, but I know people can say, oh, you guys are getting pretty big. Well, we're big in this scale, in this terms of like being a startup, small company from 20 years ago, but compared to the Fidelities and the big wirehouses, we're not big at all.
Right.
But people, the culture is huge here. And so I think people kind of get nervous as you grow, are you able to sustain the same culture? We always tell our clients the reason we're growing, if you look at our growth, it's to make sure the advisory services never change. So when I say, like, let's say you go to a local mom and pop advisory shop, and they probably do a good job, but a lot of times it's 1, 2, 3, 4 individuals. And what I've always said was, how can that person manage your money, set up the reviews, prep the reviews, build a tax plan, coordinate estate planning? There's just
so much. We
do it with us three and our clients and the whole team. There's so much to do. So, and Laura and Natalia, you guys know, think of all the behind the scenes stuff that's going on from our portfolio team, from our trading team, from our planning team, that a lot of times the clients don't necessarily see that, but when we're meeting with clients, right, that's what we're showing them, all that behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think the main thing we're trying to, so when we built our company, that was kind of the growth trajectories. We want to make sure we support every client. And now, a lot of times Evan and I were talking before, our producer, we're saying, sometimes people will have an advisor, or they'll have a big group, a company, and they'll hire one advisor to help work with all the clients, just to help basically take the load off because it becomes stressful. Then that client, they don't really get to know everyone because they're dealing a little bit with a lot of people. Whereas on our team with Laura and Natalia, and all of our clients listening know this, you're dealing directly with all of us.
Right.
And so I guess behind the scenes, I know there's a lot. We kind of think you guys are kind of in the lead advisory role underneath Team Derek. I hate saying my name in that, but that's what it is. So all the emails go to Team Derek at SHP. Everything's a team. It's a team effort. So I guess if we'll go to either one. But what's like a day-to-day? I know it varies, but what's a day-to-day interaction with clients?
Oh gosh, every day is definitely different. There are some days where we're in meetings face-to-face with clients all day, every day. And then there are some days where we're on the phone with clients all day, every day. And then there's some days where we're on behind the scenes talking to back offices, to all of the different companies that we work with to help be that broker between them and our client. And then most likely it's a mix of that every single day. So no day is the same as the one before, which I think both of us enjoy that aspect of it. But there's always something new to learn, something new to do, and it keeps everything really fresh and fun for us.
Yeah. Anything else to add to that?
I think it's wonderful having a team. Even today, Laura was in a meeting and she messaged me, and I'm behind the scenes because I wasn't in that meeting, and I'm able to respond, and we work together to find a solution or a question that she had. So that's wonderful. And reiterating what she was saying, every day is different. We cover different aspects of the business.
Yeah, so there's a lot, just to look at this week alone, we have a lot of client reviews this week. And so prepping for a client review isn't just here's your performance statement.
Right. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes.
I think it's good for everyone to understand. Now, again, before we had a team, I would put us in that box of scrambling last minute,
Yeah.
right, to get everything done, to just, here's how much you made, here's how much you made last year, or here's how much you lost last year in the market. See it, how's everything going? We'll see you next year. I think it's good just to give everyone, I mean, obviously we don't need to use the exact terminology of like Riskalyze and like all the different softwares that we use, but can you give maybe Laura a little background of like what goes into just reviewing a client, just prepping for a client review, just a simple client review?
Oh yeah. So first things first is we want to look at all of the accounts. So whether you have accounts invested, whether you might have some life insurance, annuities, everybody's different. We are looking at each one of these and looking to see, okay, are there any changes that need to be made immediately? Do we have allocation changes? Do we need to make sure funds need to go out for RMDs? So it's almost like a list of going through every single account and understanding exactly what needs to be done there and have prepped for the meeting. Really the goal is to make sure that if anything needs to be done, we're prepared for it and we're ready to do it so that we can be as efficient as possible. Back in the day, we would meet with a client and then have a whole list of follow-up items, and that's how things could easily get lost. But now we're a lot more proactive because we have more hands in the kitchen that can really help to be able to facilitate that. So we're doing all of that. We're looking at your income plan. We're making sure, hey, are we still on track? Are we still making sure that you have enough money to cover your lifestyle, to cover all of your expenses? We're looking at taxes. We're looking at opportunities. Actually, it's really fun. We actually do a whole review of the entire roadmap.
Yep.
So we're looking at the SHP roadmap always. So every time a client comes in for a review, it's not just hey, we're just looking at investments today. We're just looking at income. We're looking at everything. And some meetings may have more important aspects that need to be looked at. So for example, we have a client coming in tomorrow who he's retiring. So that's an exciting meeting, but we really need to dig in deep to the income plan for that one. So maybe this time around we won't be doing as much work on the legacy side.
Correct.
So it's great because we get to really see what is the most important aspect of what needs to be reviewed. We are also making sure all of your statements are there, making sure all of your documents are up to date in your vault if you're the client, and making sure all your accounts have accurate pullings through our portal. So that's just a little piece of it, a little taste.
So
I don't want to give it all away.
Basically, think of like, for those of you who are not clients, there's a portal, right? Through our SHP portal. That portal links all your accounts that are with us to one spot, but also all of your goals. So what is your Social Security income if you're retired? What are your expenses? What are your assets? What's the tax ramifications? So what it does is it allows us to project out and always stay on track.
Right.
So we can look out 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 years. Are we on track? Did income go up? And then for the next year, we map out where should the income come from based on taxes, based on the accounts, based on the market performance. So, and we also have a risk software that gives every single client a current risk number between 1 and 99. And it gives them an idea of like their upside, downside exposure. Obviously, if you're at 3, you're not going to have much upside. You're not going to have much downside.
Right.
If you're at 98, you can get somewhere really fast and you can also crash really quick. So it's almost like making sure every client is aware of their current plan, their current risk. And I always say we always want to, based on all the work being done behind the scenes, and I think this is why, I think we do a good job and we're good people, but I think our retention ratio has always been so high because we're trying to not miss one I, dot every I, cross every T. So when someone comes in, every year we're kind of building out, looking at their situation. Can we make it better? Or what can we do to improve it? Or maybe it's status quo and we don't really need to make any tweaks.
Right.
So is there anything, when just a simple project, I know Natalia, you've been here for a couple of years now, but RMDs, required minimum distribution. Seems like a simple thing because someone's like, yeah, I have to take my minimum distribution. But there's a lot of work that goes into that, right?
It does. It definitely is, because we look at a strategy with the RMDs. We don't necessarily just pull the money. We look at how Fidelity,
Exactly.
is invested. Oh, is the market doing well? Should we withdraw from there as opposed to the annuities? So it is. There's a thought process behind that. So yeah,
for everything, almost. Yeah, it's like for everything, and that's the whole thing. Is that I was starting to go down this road earlier. We always want our clients to feel as connected to their money as they ever have. Not necessarily they have to go on and check every day, but when they leave their office for every meeting, whether it's a 6-month review, annual review, they know exactly where they stand. So on the flip side, we have a lot of, luckily enough from the team, I always say, people always ask how our team gets a lot of referrals. And I think obviously in general, and this is kind of like me speaking open to the public, which is kind of scary, but people say, how do you get referrals? Well, I think you have to have good culture, which obviously SHP, thanks to Michelle, Mallory, the whole team, there's a really good culture set where you got to get your work done, but we don't take ourselves seriously.
Right.
No one's better than the other.
Right.
We all come to work and humble ourselves every day and give an honest day's work and try to do what we can for our clients and each other. That's what it is. And I think that culture is a big point. I think our communication is important. You know how I am. If someone misses like an email or a call, that's like my biggest fear. So communication's key. But also the planning that goes into a plan. When clients see after becoming a client how their plan was built and how thorough it is, that's to me, the combination of all that leads to them being, okay, this is I want to help my friends. And so we're lucky to get a lot of referrals. So when a referral comes in, because I'm old and been doing it 20 years, I can't take every client on. I wish I could, like back in the day, but I always, with referrals, I'm always there for the beginning to make sure I learn about the client, help build out the plan. But in terms of an onboarding process, Laura, let's say someone comes in for the first meeting. First of all, it's super casual. So I know people are because people are nervous. This is their life savings.
Exactly.
Sometimes we forget we were doing it so long that these people, whether it's 500,000, $1 million, or 10 million, or 20 million, that's their life's work.
Right.
That's like what they've built, worked so hard to save. And so they come in, some people are very nervous, and our first thing is like, listen, don't be nervous. We're just trying to help you.
Exactly.
If we can help you, great.
If we add value, yeah.
Exactly. So maybe we could walk through the process of like that first meeting.
Yeah. So the first meeting is just like Derek said, it's pretty informal, and I think a lot of people come in with anticipation that they're going to have to know everything and answer all of the questions correctly, when in reality, when you want to work with a financial advisor, they're the ones that should be able to guide you and make you feel at ease. And I think that is a strong point of SHP, is the fact that we don't expect people to come in and know how to do day trading, how to do all of their investments and have everything in a perfect bow. If you had that, then you wouldn't really need our help.
Yeah.
So we want to sit down with you. We want to learn about you. We want to learn about your family, your situation, and everything in between. So I always laugh because sometimes we even ask questions. One of my favorite questions is, what do you like to do in your spare time? Yeah. What are some of your hobbies? What do you want to make sure you're making priority for in retirement? So if you love to travel, we want to make sure that's a huge goal. We want to make sure you're tracking with that. Yep. And we want to make sure you can do that. So when we sit down with the clients first, it's one of my favorite meetings because it's really building a little bit of trust there, of understanding, okay, these people at SHP, they want to learn about me so that they can help me, not just come in and bring my money over so that they can manage it and then see me once a year. We really build friendships and relationships for the long term. Some of our clients, after years and years of being with us, they're like family to us. When they walk in, they get hugs. Everybody wants to know how their kids are, their grandkids. It's a really great experience. And I will be pretty frank, is that sometimes we may meet with someone and it's not a good fit if there's not trust there and if there's not the ability to say, I'm coming in for help.
Exactly.
Some people do come in and they're a little bit defensive, which is understandable. And our goal is to try and peel some of that off. But if we can't do that,
it's not worth it.
It's not.
We always tell people, like, but if it's, if you're not comfortable, it's not worth
exactly.
It's not worth coming on board. Just we don't want it, because it's just stressful for us to feel like someone's not comfortable with the situation.
Exactly.
So I totally get that. It doesn't happen often, but if it does,
not often at all.
We're always up front to deal with it. When I'd rather have the awkward conversation than make it try to fit around a square hole and square peg in a round hole, something
That's
like that. And I think building that rapport is huge. And a lot of times they're coming from their friends who have worked for us. And a lot of times too, we're dealing with these, as you both know, Natalia, how many families do we work with their children now?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because they're trying to get their kids learning about investing, or sometimes the kids have plenty of money, but sometimes they're just learning and starting out, and we want to make sure we fulfill that goal to help teach their kids and connect them to money and learn basic strategies to build their worth. So this is all great. And I think when I think about myself. Keep in mind, I have a touch of OCD, so I like to have things in order. Surprise, just a tinge. So when I think about that, I'm always like, if I was not an advisor, and we didn't have this practice, and I was someone that needed to work the regular job and had and went to a financial advisor, I'm always like, I would even though small companies can be good, or even a wirehouse can be good, I'd always be wondering, is every I being dotted, every T being crossed? I don't want to be on a beach or golfing somewhere and wondering, oh shoot, I feel like someone's managing my money, but are they really doing everything they can in my situation? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's the difference here at SHP. I mean, the thing, I don't know how, it'd be very difficult. I don't know how we'd be able to go back to not having a team approach of everything that's being done behind the scenes. And so for us, like I said, our clients know that the three of us all know the situation. We're all working on their plans. By the way, there's 45, 50 people at SHP that we can rely on as well for, like, you're going to our planning team for tax strategies and income strategies. You're going to talk to our CPA and attorney all the time for strategies around that. We talk to our portfolio team about trading strategies and investment strategies. So even behind, it's not just our team. It's like there's a whole team behind our team. But that's what I think folks out there that have worked so hard, they deserve that. It's like, if you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, that resonates with me. I'm sitting here, and if you think of like I wish I could. We have cameras on, but like think of like a pizza, like a pie with 5 different areas, right? One area is income planning. One is investments. One is taxes. One is healthcare. One is legacy. If all you're getting is an investment plan, that's 1/5 of a plan. So if you look at our clients that we meet with in retirement, a lot of the planning we do on reviews is, we talk about performance. That might be 5 minutes, and the other hour and a half is on planning, taxes, RMD strategies, qualified charitable distributions, like everything but performance. So it's like so I always, just being by the OCD part, I was like, I'd hate to have a partial plan. If I worked my butt off and I retired, I want to make sure everything's covered, not just 1/5 of what could be. So last thing I want to do is kind of flip to something that we've dealt with a little bit recently, which is the tough part about this business, but people pass away. And that's, as much, it's part of life, obviously, and it's a very tough issue. Laura and I just had one recently. We were in a meeting, and I think that's the true colors of what teamwork really does. To see these, even people that are going through such a hard time, they know we have their back, and that we're doing everything we can on the financial side to take as much as we can off their plate, and the trust is there. You know what I mean, Laura?
Exactly. I would say that is a huge difference between SHP and a lot of the other firms out there, is that when someone walks in dealing with a situation where a loved one has passed away, sometimes they may run into a situation where they have a bit of that abrasive approach where, okay, well, we can transfer your funds here, here, or here. Let us know. You make the decision.
Yeah. Like,
as opposed to when you come into SHP, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the one that we were just meeting, we were tearing up. It was hard because, again, they're like SHP family to us. But our goal is to really be able to be the ones that moderate and to help as much as possible when it comes to estate administration. It is an extremely complex, difficult situation. And to not only have to deal with that, but also to grieve a loved one, that is just a horrible place to be in. So we try to really take as much of that burden off of our clients so that they can focus their time on grieving and healing, because that's what's more important in that time frame.
Definitely.
So it's a huge process, but we stand between every single stage from the first meeting on to making sure all the accounts are updated, making sure that everything is in the proper place and tax-wise, and it's a huge help for our clients to know that they have that safety net there of SHP to be able to hold their hand and do it. And I would say that is my background in working in a large bank, one of the top 5 banks of the world. It was a completely different situation where there was a team approach, but every team was extremely competitive and it was cutthroat, and people would leave all the time, and you might have someone who was an expert in this client and then they quit because it's not a great culture to work in. I would say here, I've been here 5 years. I haven't seen a lot of people leave, in all honesty. And it is, I think we have a great medium right now. I think we're in the perfect spot because a mom and pop shop that's hard and you were there for a long time.
You can only do so much.
Do everything.
Yeah.
You have piles and piles on your desk and you're just trying to stay above
You're reactive
water.
instead of
Exactly.
proactive.
But then when you go to these large firms and you have these, teams, you were on a team approaches. It's too big. It's unsustainable. People are competitive. People are trying to get promotion.
Yeah, like you said, it's not really a team. It's like who can do more, who can produce more.
Exactly. So I think we found a really sweet spot, and I think I could probably speak for all of us, but our team is like, we're our little family. We have a text message group that we text each other encouraging things.
Team Awesome.
We have Team Awesome, yes. But it's funny. Sometimes when Natalia and I we sit next to each other, and I swear people probably look at us like we're crazy because we can just pick up on any type of topic. We'll talk about the most random stuff, but also it's like we have a client that she's working on. She can just start talking about it randomly, and I'll be right on track. I'll know exactly what you're talking about. So someone from the outside might think, what is going on in that corner? But it's because we have such a great rapport, and there's no competition between us.
Exactly.
I want to see Natalia thrive. I want to see Derek thrive, and I know they want to see me thrive, which is a really great place to be.
Yeah, thanks. And I think the other thing too about like going back to when a client passes away is like there's just that. I also think just all the stuff they have to deal with. Imagine that someone wasn't really there or too busy to support them through that, right? Yeah. At least they know that the financial end's being taken care of. And also, a lot of times, we have a lot of clients that know how to manage money, and pretty large clients too. And they've said, you know what, Derek, Laura, Natalia, I could probably do some of this myself, at least the investment side, but I want to make sure if something happens to me, I want to make sure my wife or husband.
Is taken care
sometimes
of,
the wife is the one that does it. Sometimes the husband. It's not always the husband or wife. They want to make sure if something happens to them, because that's a vulnerable situation. If someone passes away and the wife took care of everything and the husband didn't, and now he's like, what do I do? He can go to anyone not knowing what's best and what's not. So I think the comfort of those families, peace of mind, knowing that they have someone. Obviously, we're not perfect. If we make a mistake, we own it. We're not going to do everything. We're not going to pick every stock at the low and sell at the high. It's just we're not a perfect company. But like my dad taught me, like I've said a million times, in whether it's life, business, and what we do here, if you can take care of a lot of the little things and the details, then the bigger things work themselves out. And so we always pay attention to the details, the small stuff in a plan for a client, in our communication, and the way we treat people. And that so far has led to good success for Team Derek and especially SHP. So thank you, as always, both you, for everything you do for us and all that. I know you guys, two of the hardest workers you'll ever meet, and the nicest people you ever meet. Well, Laura sometimes.
Hey, watch out.
Laura can be a little feisty.
He's going to pay for that later.
But anything final, anything else you need to get off your chest that's not going to be at my dispense?
No, I mean, one thing that I did want to add was that we're not cookie cutter. Like, I think you find that in bigger wirehouses, that it's like, okay, this is it for everyone. With us, we get to know our clients really in depth. That's an excellent point. Each situation is different.
And even when, if you've come into it sounds like almost like a sales thing, but if you come into a first meeting, we tell them, like, we don't want to really, unless you're dead serious about this, we don't really want to put in the work, because we're not just hitting a button that everyone gets the same plan.
Right.
Everyone's so different. So if we take on a referral or a new client, it's not that it's like we hit a button and their plan comes out. Unfortunately,
that'd be great.
It's not cookie cutter. That's a great point, Natalia. So we want to make sure if we're going to take on a new client, we have a promise to our team and to our clients, we're not going to waste time. So we said, yes, if we can help them, we'll be honest, but we said we don't want to put the work in unless you're very committed to moving forward, because it's time off our team, for ourselves, and the person that's looking into our services. So awesome point on that. Anything else on your end, Laura?
No, I think just the fact that it's great to be open and to show people how our team works. And this isn't just limited to Derek's team.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, this is how we've structured our entire company across the board. So
team
it's
Matt,
pretty cool
Team
to
Joe,
know.
Team Pat, Team Mark, Team Keith, there's Brian, there's Chase. There's a whole.
Exactly.
There's multiple teams like this that are all, and then all those teams like yourself. We have actually, after this podcast, we have a meeting where all the team leads and advisors are meeting on best practices to share ideas. So it's a whole structure, not just us three here. So awesome. Well,
teams within teams within teams.
Exactly. Well, thanks again. Hopefully everyone enjoyed kind of a little behind the scenes look at SHP and Team Derek. But there's so much if you've seen me show up to a meeting or any of us, just know that it makes us look good because of all the work that shows up. But so much of that, if not 98%, was done behind the scenes by the team. But as they say, teamwork makes the dream work.
Right.
Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you on a future episode very soon. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Roadmap podcast by SHP Financial. If you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to hit the subscribe button so future episodes are automatically downloaded directly to your device. And if you've liked what you heard, please share the show. Create your own little ripples so we can help even more people with their retirement goals. If you want access to all past interviews, including notes, resources, and exclusive content from SHP Financial, visit shpfinancial.com/podcast. Thanks again for joining us on the Retirement Roadmap podcast. And for all the attorneys out there, and disclaimers and disclosures, I'm just going to put on my super serious voice and add our own. No statements made during the Retirement Roadmap podcast shall constitute tax, legal, or accounting advice. You should consult your own legal or tax professional on any such matters. Information presented is for educational purposes only and does not intend to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any specific securities, investments, or investment strategies. Investments involve risk, and unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Our investment advisory services are offered through SHP Wealth Management, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance sales are offered through SHP Financial, LLC. Our advisors and insurance reps may offer clients advice and/or products from each entity. No client is under any obligation to purchase any insurance product.